from anyone in the industry. But
as a Cleveland Brown. But I just think at his overall ADP right now, if you are punting the quarterback position, I do think he offers a ton of upside. Overall, 139, the 1207, quarterback 21. And I just think at that price point, I think he offers QB1 upside week to week or high end QB2, and you're getting him in the 12th round. So, as I said, if you're punting the position, I don't mind pressing the button on Deshaun Watson. He has um, arguably the best supporting cast he's had in a long time with Amari Cooper. They just traded for Jerry Jeudy and paid him. Njoku broke out last year. Elijah Moore still around. Uh, Tillman, let's see if he can take a step in his sophomore year. And you also have a decent run game. We don't know how Chubb is going to be, but I mean, Foreman's there, Ford's there. So I think this offense with Stefanski and Ken Dorsey, I do think they have a chance to do pretty good things. And it kind of all hinges on Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson, it's been small sample sizes when he has been the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns just because he's always hurt. That's the biggest thing with Deshaun Watson. Can he stay on the field? He's played in 6 games each of the last 2 seasons. One due to suspension, and then this past year he just kept getting hurt, and then he finally missed the rest of the season with that shoulder injury. But just looking at those 5 games, if you throw out week 7 where he barely played, his points per game, just looking at the Fantasy Pros half point PPR scoring, on their website, it was 18.34 points per game with that small sample size of 5, which landed him right around QB 13. That's removing Joe Flacco out of that, and then Anthony Richardson was tied for 12. But Patrick Mahomes last year had an average of 18.4. So he was basically right there, and you're clearly drafting Mahomes a lot sooner than Deshaun Watson. So I know yeah. So I just think at this price point with his upside, and he does have a somewhat of a rushing floor in his 2 seasons with Cleveland. He does average right around 30 rushing yards per game. That's an extra 3 points a week. And I think it's kind of now or never for Deshaun Watson. I'm sure Cleveland Browns fans feel the same. I mean, at some point, what Deshaun Watson ever going to come close to where he was in Houston? Probably not. But can he be 85? I mean, maybe 90%. Who knows? But I just think at that price point, I'm okay pressing the button.
well, that's your quarterback, man. Tell Ethan why you agree with him.
At the you know possible chance of sounding like a homer here, I am definitely in on Deshaun Watson this year. Um, Agree with a lot of what Ethan just said, and the rushing floor is a big part of it. And he pointed out those in those healthy games, the actual fantasy points per game that he had. If we just get that, like he's a win at the price, and we know that he can be more than that. And how much more at this point, we don't really know. As Ethan said, does he ever get back to Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson? I doubt it. But can he get a little bit closer to what he was with the Texans? I think he still can. I also think that Kevin Stefanski wants to be a more pass-heavy offense. I think he hasn't really been able to do that with Deshaun Watson yet. 6 games 2 years ago, as he was rusty coming back to football. Last year, dealing with shoulder injuries. He finally got a QB that he could do it with in Flacco at the end of the year, where he was able to just call pass play after pass play. And the passing volume won't be quite as high with Flacco just because Deshaun Watson's going to run some. Like some of those pass plays are going to turn into runs. But I mean, that's cool for Watson, right? But the reports are too out of camp is that Kevin Stefanski wants to turn the offense into a little bit more of a spread offense to try and suit Deshaun Watson even more. So I think he is trying to move into that high-paced passing offense with Watson. And if that's the case, the ceiling is very high.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in on Watson really since the day he got traded to Cleveland, so it's been a rough couple of years for me with some of those takes. But the points you guys made are the ones I've been hammering home on Watson personally. I mean, if you actually look at what he's producing when he's out there and finishing games, like it's good for fantasy. Like it just is, especially in superflex formats. I know we're not discussing that tonight, but even at one QB, he's going 139 picks deep into the draft. Like that's basically free. So if you are a believer of taking a backup quarterback, there's no one in that range who has higher upside than Deshaun Watson, who's had 3 top 5 finishes on his resume. He's only 29 years old, which is not ancient for a quarterback. So he gives you that Konami code rushing upside. I got nothing but good things to say about Deshaun Watson is on the football field this season. So that's a good sleeper, Ethan, for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
just one more point too, just with just
One more point on
yeah,
Watson.
just with Cleveland per se, right? Joe Flacco, everybody thought he was left for dead, and then all of a sudden he comes out, wins comeback player of the year. I mean, if he can be the quarterback two from weeks 13 to 17 in that offense, I mean, like I said, they added Jerry Jeudy. Why can't Deshaun Watson have that kind of upside week to week going forward? So I just think there's just so much upside in the offense and just so much upside with Deshaun Watson. Some people think Deshaun Watson's dead, but like I said, same people thought Flacco was dead, and he ended up putting on a show late last year. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah, Flacco was dead and buried until he wasn't.
With your research for your specific league, there's a way to reach out to us. I mean, you can check us out on the Did It app. That's DIDIT. You can check them out on X at Get Did It. That's at GETDIDIT. Essentially, what that is it's a means for you to set up a FaceTime call with one of us here at Sunday Surefire. It's a pay per minute platform. For us, it's only $1 a minute, and we can give you any type of advice what you want, whether it's a dynasty league, redraft, best ball, whatever the case may be. We're ready to go 24/7. We're always on there. Shoot us a DM. We'll set up a time that works for you to get on there and talk. We'll send you notes about your team and notes about what we discuss, so you don't have to kind of worry about jotting things down while the conversation's going on. We'll take care of that part of it for you. And the best part about Did It, guys, is that your first call is free. So you really got nothing to lose by trying it out. So just download the app. It's for iOS users only at the moment, but it's a growing platform out there to get customized fantasy advice. As much as the generic advice is good, it's always better to when you can get an analyst, one of us, to look at your specific team and talk about your specific needs and carve out a winning strategy in 2024 and beyond.